Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's AI news for Still Team Human on July 27, 2026. I hope you're having a happy Monday. Over the weekend, The Guardian reported on a story that may calm the anxiety many of you are having about the potential job losses related to artificial intelligence. They shared findings that dispute the threat of a job apocalypse that was suggested by Dario Amodei, co-founder of Anthropic, maker of the AI chatbot Claude. The headline and subhead set the tone. Quote, the AI jobs apocalypse probably isn't coming anytime soon. Artificial intelligence may not deliver on its promise of vast economic opportunity at a price that humanity is willing to pay. Basically, Amodei has been saying that we, the people, must brace ourselves for job losses on a scale that we have never seen because of AI's rapid advancement and ability to mimic us and then do better than we can. However, the company also published a report recently on the impact of AI on employment and found that the impact has fallen way short of expectations. Quote, we find no systematic increase in unemployment for highly exposed workers since late 2022, the report stated. Deployment of the technology, quote, remains a fraction of what's feasible. Claude covers just 33% of all tasks in the computer and math category, whereas theoretically it could take over nearly 100% of them, end quote. Another telling and important quote from the article is as follows, quote, labor productivity was in fact slower in the first 3 years of our AI era than during the information technology boom that began in the mid 1990s. So the article then goes on to discuss the fact that data centers are also a big part of this. People have really soured on AI basically because they don't want data centers being built in their communities. They think that it is a big drain on the environment and on our energy supply. People are very concerned about that. We've talked about that here on Still Team Human previously, and I believe even in last week's Today's AI News snippet. So, the data centers are a big part of this. Another big part of this is that people are fighting for humans, for their jobs, for the idea that they want to interact with other people and not robots, even if they're humanoid in nature. And so this souring that has happened among the people has kind of slowed down the desire to replace people with AI. That's good news for all of us all around. Another reason for this is the AI has not lived up to expectations. It still makes mistakes. We fear hallucinations. We fear errors being made, and it needs a lot of oversight. And this exposes companies to risk, and therefore they are afraid to go all in on AI, and they require having humans still overseeing the machines. And again, this comes from my perspective that I think we should see it as a tool, a very advanced, great tool that still has big potential and can help us solve big problems potentially. However, it's our tool. We're still in charge. And I think a lot of people are starting to take on that ideology, that framework for how we're going to use AI at work. However, I still think there is a lot of potential for AI. And while it is very expensive upfront, the data centers cost a lot, the use of energy costs a lot, both in terms of the environmental ramifications, but also cost economically. And at the moment, because of this souring, the markets have cooled a little on the AI explosion and excitement. I do still think that if the advancement continues as it has been suggested, And companies start to realize they can spend a lot up front, but save a lot later, as in they don't have to pay for people's insurance and they don't have to pay a weekly salary and they don't have to worry about vacation time or the fact that we humans need to sleep. They may change their tune about all of this, and humans may get replaced. And I do have to say, I see humans getting replaced all the time for the writing. I don't think it's a smart move because you can tell when AI has written something as opposed to a human, and you do lose something in translation. And human beings want to hear from other human beings. They are not moved in the same way by the written word of a robot versus a human. That's my opinion. I've told you already how I use it to edit, to improve headlines, to get ideas for stories, to create outlines, but not for the writing because my heart comes through when I write. And you just can't get that from the robots. However, a lot of companies are moving in that direction specifically for their marketing. And I do think it's going to hurt them, but it's still happening. Wayne Butterfield did a great podcast with us, who also suggested this BS that they're sharing about the fact that this is going to cause economic opportunity and there'll be more jobs because of AI is a load of BS, and we should all be weary of it. And the fact is that it is already taking on some of the roles of humans, and we have to be ready to adapt and adopt, as I've said many times before here. I do think that's still somewhat true. So don't take this as, you know, okay, we're all fine, our jobs are good, let's move on. I do think there is still some truth to job losses coming, but perhaps it won't be as quickly as we previously thought. And maybe, just maybe, our human interloping ability to come forward with good arguments and our opinions and our feelings will make a difference in the decisions that are being made at the top levels, will make a difference in the legislation that gets written. And again, I'm going to harp on the AI Constitution. We have to keep saying what we want and how we want this to look and how we want AI to be used. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I suggest you read the whole article. I'll leave uh, the URL in the show notes, and let us know what you think. Say what you have to say in the comments. Share with me so I can add to the AI Constitution and continue to bring you interesting news that can help us shape this new world we're about to live in. I hope to hear from you all, and I will see you tomorrow with another Today's AI News. Thank you. See you then.